Hey, my good people, KV here. Thanks for joining me on this video. So the topic for this one is finding the time. So I wanted to talk about your calendar, and hopefully by the end of this video, you'll have some ideas or tips to help organize your week to make coaching multiple teachers more manageable. So let's jump right in. So we're familiar with this, the Klein GBF coaching cycle. So in a nutshell, you observed your teacher, you've uh, planned your see it, name it, do it script. You've had this debrief conversation with your teacher, and then you followed up to go see the action step literally in action, and then you repeat the loop. So I think it's natural when we see something chunked out like this and we know we're working with multiple people on the same thing to plan your day to be like, on Monday, I'm doing all of this, Tuesday, all of this, Wednesday, all of this, and so forth. So your calendar, what that ends up looking like in reality is something like this. So say, for example, I'm coaching 6 teachers weekly. So on Monday, I've cleared my calendar and I'm going to observe all 6 of my teachers. Then on Tuesday, I'm in my office all day crying because I'm having to prep for those 6 teachers' debriefs. And let's be real, okay, I probably don't even remember half the stuff I saw yesterday. And anytime you learn something new, it takes a lot longer. So these scripting conversations it's going a lot slower than I would like them to. So I'm stressed out to the max. And then I figure it out, and then on Wednesday, I'm having 6 completely different coaching conversations all day long. And Thursday comes around, and now I'm running around trying to get into my teacher's rooms at the right time to be able to see whatever the action step is in action. And so I finally make it to Friday, but I'm so exhausted. Like, I'm done. I'm crying even more because I have to complete everything else that I kind of put on the back burner to do all this. I'm trying to finish it all on Friday. And then I know that I'm just gonna have to do it all over again on come Monday, right? So you can see how you get in this vicious cycle of like never having enough time. Don't do it this way. I absolutely do not recommend it. I'm sure someone out there is and can do it, but I would not recommend it because it's not sustainable. It's a lot. Okay. So a calendar that's a little better than this one would be something that looks like this. So already, just like looking at this slide, I feel better because there's more white space. Okay. So mentally, that tells my brain, okay, I'm not spending all day doing something. I'm spending this little chunk of time doing something. So, for example, if you can see on Monday, I'm just observing 2 teachers. That's it. That's all my coaching I'm doing for that day. So maybe that's what, 30 minutes to an hour that I'm spending uh, on Monday. And then on Tuesday is when I go back in and I have my conversation, right? And then I pick up 2 new teachers. So on Tuesday, I'm only with 4 teachers, right? So it's way better than 6 already. And then it kind of like follows this stair step pattern after that. So on Wednesday, I'm debriefing teachers, or I'm following up with teachers 1 and 2, debriefing teachers 3 and 4. And on Thursday, you can see that's going to be my like biggest workload, my biggest day, because I have 2 follow-ups, 2 observations, and a debrief, right? And then I complete all the coaching cycles for all 6 of my teachers on Friday. So this is way better than calendar one, way more manageable. I can jump on board with this. It gives me plenty of time to do, go to PLCs, my leadership meetings, office time, like all that stuff for the other things we have to do. So it's a lot more manageable. But even though it's manageable, it's a lot nicer. If you're doing this like long term, it can get really exhausting because it implies that every week I'm doing a whole new coaching cycle. I'm seeing every teacher every week 3 times, and that's hard, right? So doing this every week, the mental load, mental burden of having to do this after a while can get taxing because I'm having to, script and find exemplars. So on my end, it's a lot of work. And then on the teacher end as well, it can get mentally exhausting because you're always telling them something new to do, right? It's just another thing over and over, and it's hard, okay? So a nicer calendar would be something that looks like this. So I really like this model. And there's two things I want to point out. So week one's the same thing. It's that stair-step model where I'm not doing teachers all day. I'm just kind of stair-stepping them throughout the week. But things happen. You call out sick or you're going to a training or something. So you don't have time to meet. If you look at teacher 6, you don't have time to do all 3 meetings with teacher 6 that week. Cool, not a problem. So I observed teacher 6 on Friday. I'm just going to pick back up on week 2 with her debrief on Monday and the follow-up on Thursday. Right? The real flexibility comes in with the other 5 teachers. So if you notice, like, for example, teacher 3, well, all of them, I'm only seeing them one time that week. I'm not doing the observation, debrief, and follow-up like I did week 1. Only seeing them one time, and I can make that happen because I'm not moving on to a new cycle. I'm literally just making sure, like checking back in with whatever we did week 1. I want to make sure that, like, for example, teacher 3, whatever I saw on Thursday is still there on Tuesday because I want this action step to become a habit. I don't want it to happen just because I was in that. So this is really nice on my end, right? Because I'm not planning for something new, and it's nice on the teacher end because you're just tightening up that action step, maybe adding in a little bit more detail. So it's not something overwhelming and completely new. And because I'm doing that follow-up, it all happens. It's called like real-time feedback. It's happening in the classroom. My conversation, the time devoted to it becomes really or a lot shorter than week 1. So it gives you that flexibility. Maybe I want to see teacher 3 twice this week to really make sure that that action step is solid. So in terms of like the scope and sequence, it would look something like this. So say I'm working with teacher 1 and she's on engage all students. Week 1, I'm doing that coaching cycle, the full coaching cycle where I see her 3 times, and we're working just on bullet points 1, 2, and 3. Right? That's all I'm looking for. So then when week 2 goes around, I'm not moving on down the list. I'm going back in to make sure that she's cold calling, doing some turn and talks, and doing a pre-call warm call. So nothing new. We're just making whatever we did week 1 tighter. So then week 3 rolls around. So now that I'm confident that my teacher has these first 3 bullet points, I'm still under the umbrella of engage all students, but I'm gonna add these final bullet points. So maybe for my teacher, I know they don't need this last bullet point, so I'm not gonna make them do it just because, right? Just because it's on the sheet. I'm gonna make sure that these are specific to that teacher, and so I'm just gonna do this 4th bullet point. They've gotten the pieces, individually, so now we're just gonna put it all together and mix it up. So by week 3, this teacher should have a really good, solid understanding of how to engage all their students using these specific action steps. So then week 4 rolls around, and now I'm ready to start, a whole new coaching cycle with a new action step. So you can see it's a lot nicer. Instead of doing 4 completely new coaching cycles in a month, I'm doing 2, right? So it's a lot easier, a lot more manageable, and I think it's better for both parties, the coach and the teacher. So in a nutshell, to recap, the goal is to master an action step in order to build good teaching habits, not to get through the scope and sequence as fast as possible, okay? We want to build lifelong good teaching practices with our coaches. So you do that by staggering your calendar, like that stair step model, to give you more time to prep your script, have quality conversations and see what you need to see, and then staying within a specific action step for more than 1 week, right? To make sure that it's a lasting habit and not just something that's happening because you're there. That's all I got. I hope this helped a little bit. Bye.